Hello and welcome back to SOC Outdoors. Got another beautiful morning. We got a nasty string of weather coming up, so I wanted to get this done today. I'm going to install an anchor trolley system on my daughter's kayak. We got her this Pelican ARGO100x. She got to rep the logo. And I'm going to put an anchor trolley all the way along the side of it for her. And for those of you that don't know, an anchor trolley system is basically just a movable attachment point for your anchor. That way, if the wind or current is blowing you in one direction but you want to face another way, you can move the attachment point or anchor point of your anchor to your kayak anywhere from the front to the back. That way it can change where you're positioned in the wind. The wind is always going to blow you from wherever your anchor is attached. So if it's up front and the wind's blowing, it's going to blow so that you're facing the wind. So if you are able to slide your attachment point of your anchor from the front to the back, it can shift you wherever you want it to be pointed. And the longer your trolley is, if it's from the very front to the very back, you have a very versatile trolley system that can help you, especially when fishing, to point yourself in any direction. First, we'll jump into the parts that you'll need for a very simple anchor trolley. I have them right in here in the boat. Got my coffee. But you'll just need 2 pad eyes. That's what these loops are called. You can get the little plastic ones, but because this is shiny, I decided to get shiny ones because this is going to be up here right around it. So you'll need 2 of these. Also a block pulley, which is unnecessary. You can run your rope through there. Mine is actually rigged up without the pulley, but the block pulley will make it easier. It'll make the trolley actually spin nicer, and since it is for my daughter, I figured I'd give her a pulley. And then I'm using the carabiners attached to the pulley, which was a tight fit. I actually drilled them out a little bit, but I'm using the carabiners so that I can remove the anchor trolley if need be. So you need 1 for each end on there. And then you'll need a steel ring. They have plastic rings as well. And I make it big enough to be able to fit another carabiner through, or some sort of attachment point, because you'll be running this through the ring, and the ring will technically be your attachment point. So you'll run this through the ring, and this is what is like that clip that I attach to my anchor rope. So you run it through the ring and then attach it to your anchor. So that's that. And then a way to attach the pad eyes. Some people use screws, some people use nuts and bolts. I prefer rivets. Just they're cleaner. They seem to work. You got aluminum rivets so that they don't corrode on me. And then I use paracord. You can use marine rope. I got white, which is probably going to get ruined quickly. It'll end up being gray, but it's going to look good. And then because I'm making it removable, I have this bungee cord, which will keep tension on it, but then I can stretch it out to release it. And then as far as tools go, the only tools you really need is a drill and the drill bit that's the size of your rivets, which you won't need if you're using screws. A rivet gun to put the rivets in, a marker to mark the spots where you want to drill, and then I got goop. You can use marine goop, silicone, whatever. I just put that in the holes whenever I drill into the boat. Now that I have all the components I'm going to need and the tools all organized and ready to go, all I have to do is mark it out and take your time with this, think it through, and make sure that it's in the right spot, because once you drill the holes are there. And then make sure to seal your holes before you rivet everything or screw everything in place. You don't have to, but I like to. And also, when drilling holes, I try to keep them as high as I can. Anything I can mount up high, I prefer to mount up high, just to keep everything as far above the water line as I can. Because even if it's siliconed or gooped or what have you, anything above the water line is going to be less likely to take on water. So I'll just set this pad eye somewhere somewhere nice. This one I'll be able to reach behind and put some washers on, maybe, I just realized. But I figure I'll set it about right here, somewhere that's going to look good but still be functional. And I was going to put it way up front, but I think I'm going to move it back just because now I think I'll be able to reach up there and put washers behind the rivets. Now the part that gets me every time is deciding to drill the holes. Now we just add our goop and put these pad eyes on. Oh, and just as a quick reminder, I did it, but I don't think I mentioned it. Made sure there wasn't anything behind where I'm drilling, you know, like the footrests or any supports or anything, just to make sure I'm not drilling into something. There you have the first step. That's your holes in the boat. Now you can take a breath, have a sip of your nice coffee, and the stressful part's over, the holes are in, they're sitting. Now it's just putting the rest of the components together. And you know, since I'm using the goop, I definitely want to let it sit for a day or so, but then you're ready to go on the water as soon as we just put the parts on. And this, because I'm making it removable, what I have on the boat now, just those two eyelets, are the only permanent parts to the whole process. The rest of it will be able to come off with the carabiners. But I can't find a lighter, so I'm gonna have to run to the store, which is convenient. There's one right across the street. All right, got the lighter from the store. Oh, hello there. I ran into a nice family from Flint coming up here to do some fishing. If you guys are watching, I hope you had a blast out there. Hope you caught every fish you could. I also decided that I'm going to just add a little paddle clip. So I got the holes marked. The way I set that up is while you're paddling, your hand won't quite reach it, and it's still not interfering with just this little rest, which I'm probably going to install a bungee for her, just a hole here that comes over to a hook. You know, kind of like how this bungee works, and it hooks onto this hook. I'll probably do the same thing for a paddle, just so you can get a little quick strap here, but it's a lot nicer when you're fishing, instead of having the paddle sticking out, to be able to flip it sideways right here and get right out of your way. All right, now that the pad eyes are set and I have a lighter, we can go on with the process. So, because it's going to be adjustable, you don't just click these in. And it won't matter right now which one you put where, because you'll be able to put it wherever you want later. So you set one in here, and then to make it adjustable, or not adjustable, removable, I'm going to set one of these in here. And I can shorten that if I want, which I think I'll probably do, because if you leave it this long, the anchor trolley will only be able to come back to about here, so it won't be able to go as far back to the end. So I'll probably shorten this up, which is very simple. So I did pull that out, tie a new knot in it. I'll pull it tight, cut it here and burn it to keep it from fraying. Take your ring, tie your rope to your ring, I'm going to do like a double loop D knot. Give myself some room here. So I'm just going to come around, go any more. I'm just going to come around, go back through, come up, and go through just the one of them. That should hold. What it does, it ties onto itself, and then I'll cut it and burn it, and then the melting of it will also help hold it. If I would have left a bigger tag, I would have been alright. To leave that little bit of frayed material, grab your lighter. Oh, of course I'm outside and it's windy. And you melt this tag end down. And that kind of hardens up. And then you can actually use either your knife blade or the lighter. I always use the lighter. And just flatten it out. And then, now as you're pulling, that locks into itself right there. It's not going to come out. And if it might. I might have to change up that knot, but I wanted to keep it simple and pretty. So I might be changing that, but as the pressure's on it, it might stay. Just kind of a bigger ring than what I've used in the past. But I think that should work. And if not, I'll retie it later. Make sure that this ring is on the bottom, because when you feed your anchor through, this will probably droop and it could get tied up and tangled around the top rope. So I'll make sure it's on the bottom. So to make sure that this loop is on the bottom, I'll come up through the bottom and just pull an ungodly long amount of rope through this block pulley. Okay. Now I'm going to take both ends down to the other side. Great, now that we're down here, we will just put this on, hook our other pulley up. We'll run this ungodly long amount of rope again through here. We'll get kind of where we want to be as far as length goes. And then we'll just tie it just a hair tighter because this bungee's going to stretch right away. And I got a tag on the paracord here. So now we're get ourselves kind of snugged in where we're going to be. You can work this in the middle of the boat if you want. Probably what I'll do. Okay, this line is going to want to stay down below that, which is what I was kind of hoping for, that we could just push this under there, and that's where we can cruise. You know, that'll stay nice and tucked under. But I didn't want to put the holes down below because I wanted to keep them up on this body line, because this will also shuck some water out. So just for a little tension, just going to put a hair of tension on it. It's got to be right here. So I'll just cut the rope like here and leave myself room for a knot. Then we'll work the same knot that we were working before. So we'll go up and over. Down and around itself. Flip it up and through, and then back through. Nice thing about this knot is it's sort of a slip knot. If you can loosen it up a little bit on this back end, you can, like a two-handed slip knot, if you get this loosened up here, you can pull it tighter. Okay, need a little more. So what you can do, because it's removable, now I unhooked it from the back, so now I can work it better. So now I can just tighten this knot up a little bit. Because this line's going to stretch. So I made it sort of tight. That bungee's gonna stretch, this line's gonna stretch. And we'll just burn this up. And there you have it. Okay, now we have the front linked along and come all the way to the back. It's going to be an issue there sometimes, but you just tend your rope, come back here to the back, bring your bungee, stretch your bungee, hook yourself up, slide that down. There is your anchor trolley system. Now, she can run this up when she's trying to work her anchor, and it'll sit right here along the side, you know, right on her. And if you pull it, it's going to move your anchor to the front. And if you pull it along this way, move your anchor to the back. It's a nice, quick anchor trolley system, and then all she'll need to do is tie off a cleat or something where she decides she wants it here, and then you can, when you're done with it, just flip it down and keep it tended up underneath. Pretty simple. If you want to make it more permanent, you don't have to use this. I like it because you can take this off. Then if you're not going to be using an anchor, or you know you're going somewhere where the trolley doesn't matter, you can just take all this off, save the space, save the weight. Or for traveling, you're throwing it up on the car, you won't have this banging around, you can take it off. And so, just as a quick display, got the anchor. You can either run this line up through here, which is pretty much what I do. Still got, you know, your float and everything. Store this in this dry bag. Everything will be tended and organized, but I'm just quickly showing you how I do it. All your rope is right here. This will be what you tie off to a cleat. You know, get a couple loops on your cleat or whatever. As you want to move your anchor, say you want your anchor point to be up front, you just slide it up front. Now, if there's any tension on the boat from the anchor, this you'll have, you know, wherever you need it tied off. Or you could just single line it through, but I like doing this. If there's any tension on the boat, it's all going to be coming from right here. You know, your line will be here. It still has a little flex to, you know, so you're not getting jerked around. So that'll be your anchor point. So if the wind's coming from the front, your anchor point's here, you'll be angled off just a little bit. Now when you're all said and done, you unhook this from your cleat, pull your other line, and pull your anchor in or throw it, and you're free. It's that easy if you do it that way. So I hope this video was helpful again. Just these little tips and tricks, maybe some little things you overlooked. Maybe you'll see it and say, wow, I'm not ever doing that, but at least now you know that that's a way you don't want to do it. So thanks again for watching. Make sure you check out our website and social media. Look for the new apparel. Keep your eye open for the seasonings, which will be eventually out. Be sure to subscribe. Make sure you like these videos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the ones coming out. We got some new videos coming soon. We're gonna switch it up, do some overnight camping pretty soon. We're getting some gear all gathered up, getting ready to go. The weather's gonna break again, and they're talking snow again, so from 80 to snow, but this is Michigan. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for watching. Thanks for supporting our channel. Be sure to get out there and do some adventuring for yourself. This is a very cheap setup. You don't even need all this, and when this is all said and done, we'll have less than $400 into it, and it is a nice setup that's going to be more than enough for what we need. And as always, be sure to be kind to yourself, and if you can, be kind to someone else.